mother, aunt, friend, grandmother, great-grandmother, whatever she was to you, Norma Hillian Cooper, who most of us knew as Si. Some years after my grandfather Lee died, Si handed me a shoebox full of old papers. It was Ta's research on his Cooper and Morgan family trees. And inside the box there were Xerox copies of old records, Civil War notations, and handwritten notes from some library that he had found in some small Kentucky town. And there was an outline of a book on the family's history that he wanted to write. And on several of these things, if you remember the 80s, these will be familiar to you. These long printouts of names and dates of members of the family and all the kids and cousins that they had, and he loved this stuff. He'd sit in there on his computer and just work on it endlessly. But on this long printout of the family name, he wrote notes next to a lot of the ancestors. He wrote that brothers Sion and Malachi Cooper had fought the American Revolution at the Battle of Eutaw Springs. He wrote that James Cooper was a well-regarded Baptist minister in the early days of Kentucky. He talks with pride that his grandfather, who was named Dr. David Witt Cooper, had put down the plow at the age of 30 and picked up a copy of the Gray's Anatomy book and taught himself just enough about how the human body worked to graduate from the first class of the University of Cincinnati Medical School. He said that his father, Dave Cooper, was, and I quote, a good salesman, a gay blade, a dancer, and a teller of tales and various authentic brogues. Next to his own name, he wrote about some of the things he was the most proud to have achieved in his life. He wrote that he was the father of Lisa, Pat, and Jack, that he'd served in the Navy during World War II, that he was Mr. DJ of the United States in 1953, and that he built and sold 3 radio stations. He was proud of that. The last thing it says next to his name is, best move in life, married Norma. They didn't always agree on much, but they agreed on that. When Si and Ta were married on the first day of March 1952, according to his notes, they had been on 3 dates. If you ever see a picture of Si from that time, it's easy to understand why Lee J felt the need to proceed with haste. Next to the entry for her name in the family tree, he wrote, good mother, good wife, very capable general office manager. And he ended with, prettiest girl in Alabama. It's not enough to say that it was a whirlwind romance. It was a whirlwind life. I'd love to tell you that they lived happily ever after, and that every day after they said I do was filled with nothing but happiness and sunshine, but that would be a lie. In the field for divorce, which he left blank for every other record of marriage in the family tree, Ta wrote dryly, not yet. But I can tell you this, and it's the truth. They loved each other as vehemently and as passionately as they disagreed with each other, and as intensely as they sometimes fought with each other. Si, like so many people in her generation, lived through a lot. Not just the big moments, like watching her brothers go off to fight World War II, or seeing men land on the moon, or presidential assassinations, but also profoundly heartbreaking personal moments. When she was 11 years old in June of 1943, her little brother went fishing with their grandfather. He fell into the Tennessee River and drowned. I remember when I was younger, her sister, my Aunt Sue, told me that after that, Si didn't speak for about a year, for whatever reason. She went on to outlive her father, who they called Cleve, who died in 76. He was 77 years old. Her mother, Ira, who died in 1978 at the age of 76. Her brothers, Harry Dittmer Hillian, who died in 96 at the age of 68. Solomon David Hillian, who died in 99 at the age of 77. James Cullen Hillian, who died in 2000 at the age of 71. And her beloved sister, Aunt Sue Ann Hillian. Aunt Sue died in 2008 at the age of 77. She outlived my grandfather, who was 66 when he died in 1992. And she sadly outlived her grandson, my cousin Lee Jackson Cooper, who died in 2016 at the age of 32. But she also welcomed, loved, and cherished the joy of life. She loved and loved tormenting her three children, my mother Lisa, my Aunt Pat, and my Uncle Jack. She loved the nieces and nephews and cousins that made up the wide-spreading branches of her family tree. She cooked country breakfast after rambunctious sleepovers for her 5 grandchildren and packed us all up to take us to the 99-cent movie at Foursquare or to the Saudi Daisy flea market. She was there for our weddings and to love on her great-grandchildren, and they all loved her. I was the oldest grandchild in the family, which in many ways made me the luckiest because I got to spend the most time with my grandparents on both sides. When I was a little kid, so I would always give me money for my birthday. When I was 5, she gave me a card with a $5 bill in it. And when I was 6, I got $6. When I was 12, I got $12, and I was thinking, man, someday I'm gonna make money. But when I was 13, I opened the card, and I read the message, and I looked, and there was, again, a check for $12. Every year after that, a year or two after that, I think when I was 14, I got the check for $12. I kind of teased her about it, and Si liked a good tease. She liked a good joke. So every year after that, up until my 30s, I would get a nice card with a happy birthday message and a check for $12. It kind of became a family inside joke. And I was never sure if she did that with all the grandkids or if it was just something she decided to do with me, if it was like a little game between us. But on her 80th birthday, or was it the 81st birthday? It was around then. We all got together at my parents' house, and my dad hatched a plan. We each gave her a card, and so she sat there at the table opening the card, and every single card from every single person contained a check for $12 to her.
There were 10 of them.
10 checks for $12. The smile on her face said it all. Everybody laughed, but nobody laughed harder than Si did. It's like my dad said the other day, everybody loved her and she loved everybody. And I've seldom felt more love in my life than when I received that $12 worth of love from my grandmother every year. Before I'm done, I want to leave you with another Si tradition. Some of you may know this, but Si had a hug. She taught it to me when I was little. I know she taught it to my brothers and my cousins and their grandchildren. And I'm sure she taught it to some of you. I'll need somebody. Mom, will you come and help me show the hug? So this is the Si hug. It's a hug. It starts as a hug, and then it does this, and you have to go. That's a Si hug. So I want y'all to stand up and turn to the person next to you.